On today's episode of Gathering the Kings.
What's the most important asset in the entire world? The most important thing in the entire world is time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Time is the most important asset in the world. And wealth is how much time can one sustain their quality of life without physically working, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so wealth is generated through cash flow. Cash flow is generated through operating business systems.
You are listening to Gathering the Kings with Chaz Wolfe, featuring fellow 7, 8, and even 9-figure business owners who have real battle scars from business and life, but have prevailed as the king that they are designed to be. We welcome high-performing entrepreneurs to the stage in order to reveal the real of the real on what it takes to build a successful business today. We dissect the good and bad decisions they've made along the way that give a true and accurate picture of the journey of success and how you too can get there. Through this dialogue, you will learn the value of growing your network and surrounding yourself with power players and kings like today's guest. Grab your pen and notebook because we're about to dive in.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chaz Wolfe, Gathering the Kings podcast. I'm your host. Today, I'm bringing to you another fellow Kansas Cityan. I don't even know how I didn't know this. How do I not know this guy? But I know him now. We're already talking about doing dinner and hunts and all kinds of fun stuff together. Aaron Ford, welcome to the King stage, my brother.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, Chaz. Hanging out with the big dogs.
Yeah. Well, when you said you were trying to bust into the network, I didn't realize you were talking about like busting actually in, here in Kansas City. But man, I'm excited that another Kansas Cityan is here on the stage. We've got several that have been here on the stage over the course of our show, but lots of people here in Kansas City I need to introduce you to. Excited for that. What type of business do you run, my man?
Yeah, so I've got a concrete company, I got a house flipping company, and then I got several apartment building investing companies. So the goal here is to take any extra income from the concrete company, flipping company, and buy as many apartments as possible, right? So that's the gig. But let's go way back just real quick because I started off as just an employee, just stuck in a dead end role, man, just stuck there, right? I got a family, house full of kids and a wife, and I have to make it freaking happen. So I stuck in this dead end job where I have to trade my time for money, like a lot of people are familiar with, and in turn I miss all these important moments with my family, all these experiences that I'd never get back, right? And that was the most important why in my life, is to be able to experience life fully with them. But then I'm stuck here trading my time for money because there's no other way out, right?
Yeah.
And I always looked at this business, oh man, if I could own my own business, I know how to do this line of work, or I know how to do this line of work. If I could just start my own business, then I could be free to have the life I wanted, to travel and things with my kids and my loved ones. So that really was what started it. And I finally made this leap to start my own business. It was a huge move in my life, right? But I had no idea what business was. I started my own job. So I went from one job, working 40, 60 hours a week for somebody else, to a job that I just happened to own, right?
That's right.
Working 80 plus. And then I had this overwhelming desire and drive to make it freaking happen because I put everybody's life on the line basically to make this move. So with that misguided drive, I inadvertently began to wear every hat in the company, right? So I had to make it happen. How many times have you heard, oh, you just can't find any good help out here? Everybody's just screws it up. If I leave, they screw it up. I got to just do it myself, right?
That's
you
right.
Can't,
yep.
There's just no workers. No. The problem is I had no system. I carried the system in my head and I expected them to follow it. And when they didn't, I was like, what are you doing? I didn't know anything about business, right? And so thank goodness I was a lifelong, I committed to learning, and I ran across Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, right? Obviously we all start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but then the follow-up book is Cash Flow Quadrant. And I remember it was like an aha moment, like this is it. I am stuck on the left side of this quadrant. I got to get to the right side. And,
That's right.
The only way to do that, the left side is trade your time for money. You're an employee or self-employed or sole proprietor. The right side, business owners, a business system owner and an investor. And the goal is to get to the right. And so, I was like, well, I got to get to that side, and started looking at these systems and how do I maybe hire myself out of the company. But had to commit to learning that portion. That's a whole beast
Oh yeah.
there that most people don't jump in. They don't know about, right? So
Right.
what's the most important asset in the entire world? The most important thing in the entire world is time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Time is the most important asset in the world. And wealth is how much time can one sustain their quality of life without physically working, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And so wealth is generated through cash flow. Cash flow is generated through operating business systems. So today, now I'm trying to operate business systems from kind of high level, but that's the goal, right?
Yeah. I love it, man. There's so many, man, you hit us like right at the beginning, just dump truck coming through with all kinds of good golden nuggets. We see business very similar here, as well as then obviously the eventual accumulation of assets on the real estate side. So I want to talk about this a little bit more. You've given us a little bit of the roadmap of how you've taken, gone from the left side of the quadrant to the right, specifically through a job, then owning a business, and then turning your business into systems, and then obviously taking extra money, putting it into real estate assets. And we're going to get into all of that as far as practicality. Give me like the heart underneath it. You said you wanted to travel, you want to be with your kids, you want to, be with your family, that type of thing. But underneath all of the stuff, even the timepiece, like even underneath that, the burning desire, like the deep down inside of Aaron, what is that? What makes you get up every day and like freaking go after it, like you said?
Yeah, so that's something I kind of wrestle with, because the switch that has to be flipped on in the beginning to get this ball rolling, okay, I'm ready to do this, let's go after it, for me is it's almost impossible to shut it back off. And why would I really want to, right? I'll give you a for instance. My wife and I we were on the beach not too long ago. We were hanging out. Everything was great. We're 5-6 days in, and under the umbrella, just sitting there. Life's great. But I remember telling her, I was like, this is great, babe, but we probably should have left a couple of days ago. I'm ready to get back after it. Like I'm not trying to. I mean, how much can I golf? I mean, I'm bored before the 18th hole, but I do golf, exactly. Right? But I mean, go to the beach. The beach is great, but it's great to go there and come back. Like I have a life that I wake up, I'm ready to go. I want to be here. I'm very blessed, completely blessed. I, never thought that I could ever get, anywhere close to where I am today. So reflection is good when I look at that. But, this motivation, this drive, I really don't know how to put a finger on it, but I wouldn't want it any other way. But I will say, look, I'm just a normal guy trying to make it happen, really, Right. And so I don't want to, I'm not anywhere arrived, right? I'm just doing okay.
I appreciate the honesty there, because I think you're right. Like, okay, fine. You're in your point, you're not done, right? That's what you say by I haven't arrived. You've arrived to maybe what the past you dreamed about, right?
Oh, yeah,
but absolutely, right? You're just saying that. So how is it that in this moment, obviously I know the answer, but I want you to tell the audience is how can you be in this moment where you're literally living the life that the Aaron 5 years ago was dreaming about and praying for and working towards, but yet you're not done?
Man, that's a great question. So I wrestle around with it. Is it financial? No. Is it freedom? No. Right? It's almost like I would like to help more people, right? So is it that?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. But it's really just striving for this high level balanced life, right? Network of people that are making it freaking happen with the same kind of mentality, and obviously the financial and the freedom and all that comes along with this. But now that it's here, it's just, let's just keep it rolling, and let's hope, my hope is that I can instill some of these traits and characteristics into my kids, and that they can live a good life in the future as well. So, it's all around balance. Before, there was no balance at all. It was go out, do the freaking job. I got to do my own marketing, my own sales, my own job installation. I got to put everything into QuickBooks, all my ordering materials. Like, it was crazy. And now you have this balanced life where you can focus on health, right? Friendships, networking, all that, family. So that's the goal is, the big 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, finance, fun.
Yeah, I love that, man. We're going to have an interesting conversation here at the end around balance because I have a unique perspective on that, and I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Those 5 areas are, or what we call the dimensions of kingship. It's like it's hard to see them all or how to win in all of those areas without some of the foundation being built first, which is what you're talking about. Once I was able to put some systems, have a little bit of money to be able to hire people, to create people systems, and have those things that can happen so that I don't have to wear every single job. So I want to get into some of that. I love the perspective of just wanting to win, right? So from my perspective, my answer on what you just said is, dude, God made you to be a builder, like a builder of things, of systems, of family, of assets, the whole deal. And that's why you're not done, because you're going to be building until the day you're gone. and that's okay. I created this phrase a couple years ago inside of Gathering the Kings Peer Mastermind, is because I thought I was a little bit crazy that, I know I'm going to go all the way to the end working or building. And so once I got around this builder language, it was like, oh, okay. No, I'm super grateful for where I'm at. Super. And that's what I heard you say. Like, wow, look at where we're at in comparison to the 5 years ago type thing. But we don't want to stay here, do we? Like, no, we're grateful, but we're so far from done. And for me, that wakes me up every morning, like it sounds like for you. I mean, we're here Monday morning. It's 8:24, both our time. We're freaking, like, you can just tell in our tone we're after it already, and it's only 8 o'clock. So I'm excited for that, man. I'm excited to know you because of that, but I want to pull more out of you here for the audience. Let's switch into a little bit of your story. So you said, okay, you had a job, you transitioned that into a business, you wore the same hat, or you had to wear all the hats for a long time. Let's talk about, why did you even get into business for just a minute or two?
Well, it was just simply the reasons. My family was the main driving factor there. It was the ability. Look, I remember I'm the guy that raced on. Hey, the kid comes up to me and says, Dad, can you help coach on Saturdays, right? Can you help coach my football? Son, I would really love to do that, but I can't guarantee that I'm off work in time to make it there every time, or in the evenings for practice, but I'll try to make it to every game, right? And race there. Sometimes you might be a little late. I mean, look, the guy who, we can go see a movie tonight, and you go and I'm 5 minutes into the movie, I'm asleep, but I did take my kids, right? or the one who, has to actually risk losing his job to take off a day to take your kids to the water park on a Wednesday, right? Like, It's just, dude, I mean, the miserable, and look, that's the family I came from. My parents just made it happen. They just went and worked. That's all they knew. There was no option in my life where I could just go start a business. There was no real mentor, right? So,
sure,
we might get into this later, but sometimes when people come up to me, I have people hit me up all the time. Hey, can we go have some coffee and you tell me how to do this? Can I pay for your lunch and you tell me how to do this? And it's just like, the most important thing I could tell them people is, no, go make it freaking happen, man. Either you want to do it or you don't. There's so much information out there. You should have already got the book. You should have already read it and done it. And then we should meet like we just are meeting, Chaz, and your network of people. That's the goal. If you don't have the drive to pick up and go make it freaking happen, then there's nothing I could tell you to do. And I fell, listen, there may be a few people here. I'm very proud of you, the ones that I did talk to that didn't make it happen. But, I kind of fell for this too many times in the beginning. How can I help? I really want to help people. That was the portion we were talking about. How can I help you? Well, now helping them is not do this, and then I'll help you get it. No, go freaking make it happen. If you want something different, you're living in the best age and time to do it. Go educate yourself and do it.
Yeah. I love the straightforwardness about that answer, because it's actually how I think most successful people feel. Many do help, like you, and I did for many, many years. And eventually what happens is that time, the most important resource that you're talking about, gets limited. And so we have to charge accordingly, whether that's literally like you create a coaching program, or you only meet with certain people, or you only meet with your team. I had to do that for a long time. I only met with people that I employed because it was a mutually benefiting relationship, and that's okay. Eventually you build some systems, and then you have leaders developing other leaders, and it's a ripple effect. But the straightforwardness of, you should have already got the book. First off, I want to encourage all the listeners that if there are people in your life that you want to ask questions of, definitely go do it. But I love what Aaron just told you to do. Don't just say, let me let me buy you a $15 lunch and give me all the answers. Like that's not an equal exchange of value. Go read the book, whatever the book is, pick the book. I guarantee you probably the guy that you're going to take to lunch has already read the book or something very similar and can have an intelligent conversation with you at lunch about the book. Right? Would you agree?
Exactly. Yeah. Make it happen. Then go search out the network people. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there's so much information. Like for the people who just want the quick, that's telling me I'm not interested in doing any hard work. Can you show me exactly what to do? And if you can, then, great. That to me, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. There's an internal drive that you've talked about a couple times. We talked about where that comes from for you. And so, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. That internal drive took you into a business, but it also drove you into wearing a lot of hats before you created systems and such. What do you think is the one thing? Because there's people listening right now, I guarantee it, who are wearing every single hat like you used to, like I used to. What's the one thing that you can give to them right now that unlocks one little piece? I mean, because they're not going to go drop all the hats and hire it all out today, but what's the one piece that you can give to them?
The one piece of advice I can give you if you're wearing all the hats is go read Systemology and the Business Playbook by Chris Ronzio. And then study it. Read it 4, 5, 6 times. Whatever it has to take, whatever it takes to get it. Go read the books. Go do it. I couldn't put together what they talked about in those books, but on this podcast, but that's the thing that you need to do. And then you need to begin to document the systems that you currently hold inside of your head into some sort of software, some sort of place where the systems can be ran, right? McDonald's, we all know, it doesn't have the best hamburger, but they have one of the best, if not the best business systems in the world. Doesn't matter if you speak Chinese, if you're 80 years old, if you're 14, every time, whatever age they hire, every time they hand the cheeseburger out the window, for the most part, it's the same thing. They have this system that they don't care who works for them. They are working the system. They're not hiring the person, right? That's the important part of this. So if you're wearing all the hats, you have to have the systems, and the systems they're hard to put down. They take time. They suck, right? But when they're there, then you don't rely on the people, although the people are very important, right? And I have a fantastic team, but we have to have a system to follow so that we know we can gauge things.
Yeah, well, I think to your point there that it's not the system that makes the system can operate with any person, right? Like that's the idea of McDonald's that you're talking about. The system is so great, I can put in any human into the mix, and it works. However, to what you just said right after that is that, but if you have amazing people also, it's you have a system and amazing people, then it really is something that will produce freedom, not only just for the owner, but in my opinion, it's freedom for the whole team. It's like, okay, if I got an A player who comes into the thing and there's a system to follow, they already know, like, okay, like this is a place that I want to be. A players don't come into organizations that don't have systems, or at least not ones that are, I mean, maybe on the ground level and they're trying to like actually help build them. That's cool. But outside of that, you're not going to attract A players if you don't have systems. And then on top of that, you got to have other A players. So I love both points there. What would you say for the person listening going, okay, I got to document all this stuff? And you said it takes time. I'm just trying to survive, Aaron. Like I'm just running around. Like I'm thinking back to your concrete business. I'm running around giving estimates. I'm trying to make sure all the jobs are done on time. I got clients calling me. I got people calling out. Nobody wants to work. Like all the things I can imagine someone saying to themselves right now, listening. How do they have time for this system thing?
Yeah, well, that's a decision you're going to have to make. I mean, you have to make it happen, right? So the first thing I did was I started to take a list of the things that I hated the most. And I just started writing down with stuff that I did on a daily, weekly basis that I hated the most. And, I hated, the office and clerical stuff. And so when I started to write these things down, I started to develop inadvertently some duties for someone, my first hire, right? And so then as I had that, then you just have to take a leap of faith. I know the limiting beliefs. We don't have the extra money. We're not generating enough to pay this person. We're not, the key about that is you can't gauge the opportunity lost, cost by you being stuck in wearing every hat. So I fell for that too. I don't have the extra money. How could I ever pay somebody $50,000 a year of salary to come help me do whatever? But
That's right.
in reality, that time frees you up and you build the top line. And so it's anything, but you want to jump in the right way, right? So that's the thing. Like if you come up with these duties, you might try to systematize those duties from your mind and just say, okay, here's what it looks like. Here's how you input stuff in a quick, or whatever it is, right? You go through those books will really help, by the way, but they are real lengthy and they are kind of in depth, but that's how you do it. That's the playbook.
Yeah. I hope that the listeners are paying close attention. And this is a little side note here for the listeners. It's me and you right now. Aaron's off to the side. I want you to know like how great of quality content you are getting right now. Aaron is giving it to you like he's just talking to you at lunch. So he's not going to boast himself here, but he is giving you straight just fire. And so systems and the stuff of like here's the list to create, it's not sexy. And so that's why it doesn't tickle your ear. But I'm telling you right now, stop the podcast, go back and listen, because everything that he just gave to you is exactly how you get off the tool belt or get out of the retail floor environment or to get out of the kitchen or whatever your business is, to get out of the role of creating marketing campaigns for your clients, whatever the situation is. You can't be the guy. You got to be the guy organizing all the things, but you can't be the guy. Anything else you want to add there before we move on, Aaron?
Well, that would just lead me into one mistake that I made immediately after starting to hire. So, probably the biggest mistake that I inadvertently made. So I'm a problem solver, right? Most business owners, sole proprietors, wherever phase you're in, you're probably a problem solver. That's a characteristic that we have to have. So, for instance, my wife will come to me from time to time with, just issues from the day or whatever, or something happened, and she wants me to listen, which I've learned this now. I do listen. But, I would start off with, okay, I'd listen for a little bit, like, all right, here's what you do. You do this, and this.
That's right.
Ready, break. We're good. You go do that and we're going to be fine. But no, she's not interested. But I'm a problem solver. So as I hired people as positions of power and authority in the company, then I was always available to answer the phone. That was another characteristic that I'm always going to try to be available to the best of my ability. I answer emails as fast as possible, right? I try to do those kind of characteristics that are traits that I have. But because of that, I had put people in position of authority and power. And then a problem might come up. They know the system. That's great. But anything outside of the system, a problem or an issue,
that's right.
Oh, what do I do? Well, let's just call him. Let's just call Aaron. And nothing against, that's just,
no,
and I would answer.
You enabled it.
I didn't even know what was going on. I'm just like, okay, great. I'm just putting fires out all day long. That's the role that I'm supposed to be in probably now that I have employees that are making, right? But so I was inadvertently creating a system where if there's an issue, you call me. And so a little story about that. My wife and I were actually on the beach again. We were actually took the kids. We were parasailing. We were doing all kinds of fun stuff. The phone was at the room, right? And I didn't even have it on me. And I get back and I remember, late that evening and check the phone. There's a dozen missed calls and a few voicemails or whatever. I start calling my team members back. And I remember calling my project manager back and hey, I've seen you called. What's going on? And he's like, oh, well, I ended up doing this and talked to this person and this, and I figured it out. And I called the next one back. Oh, yeah, it's no big deal. I went ahead and did this and I figured it out. So then I realized, dude, I was like, I'm too available. I'm way too available. So now the goal is I'm empowering. So from time to time, I have a couple of team members, and I have a fantastic team, but I have a couple of team members who they'll forget that I want them making decisions. Like I have to empower them. I have to say, now listen, you are in a place to make this decision. I am totally comfortable with your decision making here. And then we'll go over it once or twice a week in a meeting. What decisions have you made in this past stretch of time and how they go? Okay, then maybe you should think about doing it this way next time or this way, or maybe do we need to change our system, right? But the meetings are when we talk about direction, not during the actual workflow, right? So that was a mistake. As I hired the people, I would make all the decisions that were high level. And then I learned I need to empower them to make the decisions because you can't scale with me, right? Still wearing the hats again. That's right. The micromanagement in me coming back. So I have to realize that and know where I'm best suited.
Yeah, I think, first off, everything that you're giving is just, again, really, really good. And I'm not just saying that. I've had these same moments in my business where I'm like, I see. If I don't call you back, or if I don't answer my phone, better yet, I don't answer my phone ever. Now, I don't ever answer my phone. And it's not because I'm trying to be rude. My business partners know, my family knows, I do not answer my phone, period. And if potentially I need to call you back, I will. But I'm not answering my phone. Because guess what? It's a reactionary piece. So now we're going to take it to another level, because now I got to know. In my opinion, it's a reactionary piece, right? So now you've interrupted my flow of whatever I'm supposed to be doing. And if I genuinely hired you to take care of some sort of operational piece so that I can, like you said, work on the top line or work on a higher lever activity, now your problem is interrupting the higher lever activity. And I should have just never hired you to begin with, right? Which is why people stay stuck in that I'll just wear the hat. It's like, I'll just do it myself. And the problem is that sometimes they're just too available. They just aren't empowering the person. The person thinks, oh, I got to call Chaz. It's like, no, actually, I believe in you. In fact, on Thursday, let's talk about your decisions when our meeting happens. And if it didn't go right, we'll redirect, because there's no emergencies. Like I learned a long time ago, there's just no emergencies. So what would you say to that guy who's listening to both of us go right now? Go, okay, so not only am I supposed to empower them and help them make decisions, but I'm not supposed to be available? That sounds like a bad leader. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, look, so the tendency is going to be to go around and micromanage every person that you first hire, because that's the kind of person you are. If you're in this role, you freaking know, and you probably do know how to do it best, but you're not interested in doing it the best. I know that sounds bad, but you want someone else to learn how to do it, right? So, I see people that do hire, and they spend their time just going around from person to person. Why'd you do it that way? Why'd you do it this way? Wait, you are creating an poor work environment, and you're not empowering your team. So just go into it maybe like this. Think, I'm okay losing a little bit of money for the time being on this decision that might go bad, right? How bad could it be anyway, right? If
right.
Whatever your sector is, how bad could it get between meetings? It really is not going to cost much, but what you're going to gain from that by empowering your team instead of belittling or just micromanaging is just, you can't gauge it.
Yeah, you're using all the right language here. I want the listener to hear it. It's not you removing yourself and saying, "Here you go. Here's here I'm gonna feed you to the wolves." That would be, in my opinion, bad leadership. Is not giving them the skills, the training, and or then the process. But if you've done what Aaron's talking about and created the process, train them, given them the skills, everything that they need, then you're like a good father. You're like, "All right, dude, go for it." And just like my son, I'm like, I know I could like help you with this thing, but if you go do it, and even if you fall, you're going to learn so much. And I'm going to be right here giving you some cheers. But then you're going to be able to say you did it yourself, which actually, to your point, is empowering them, making leaders who are then going to turn around and help you lead other people. And then now you really don't have to be the guy, right?
Absolutely. And you should have a system, a project management system of some sort, company management system of some sort that you as the owner can watch from afar. I don't have to call my team members and say, how's it going? What's going on? Because, from time to time, I want to know what's going on with the business. I might have a free hour or two. How's it going? Well, I have a system where I can look from afar and I can see exactly everything that's going on. And I can look and say, okay, well, why is this here? If I want to ask a question, I can at the meeting. I can just write down my notes and wait for the meeting. But I can watch the system from afar. So if you don't have that, that's probably the first area to start. How do you create this system? And so there's a lot of different apps and software out there. There's basic things. I mean, I don't use Monday, but I've heard some things about it. We use a different software, but like that. But you just kind of managing things from afar, get used to that, and then when you plug people in, you can see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. I think that those are great words. You mentioned the kind of like the bad decision a second ago. I'm going to go with just all this great stuff of creating systems was a good decision that you've made, because obviously I think you kind of put yourself as a systems guy for sure. But I want to go a little deeper on a little bit more of ooh, this is like a really bad thing that I did. You kind of gave a small example in the hiring deal, but I want you to tell us about a moment in time, one specific decision that you made. You're like, ugh, it was bad. What was it?
Yeah, well, in the real estate world, the one that comes to mind, so as I started to set these properties with property managers, I was leveraging their business system. So in my mind, every rental property or apartment building is its own business and its own business system. So then I go, do a vetting and I hire a third party management company. They're the ones, and I slide the property over to them, and I leverage their system. They have a full system. And so I'm just leveraging their system, and I'm looking at the returns. So huge mistake that I had made. And my business partner and I, so in the large stuff, I have a 50% partner in some of the things. And, and we totally missed the memo on that part of that still being a business. We still have to operate the operator in that scenario.
Yeah.
So we went stacking these properties and just handing them over to property managers. And yeah, we'd look at the report they send once a month just vaguely, but none of the high level KPIs. And so we got to a point where you're just like, what is going on over here? Right. So, that everything is a business, and there is no, maybe there is, but I haven't found it. There is no true passive income. I guess if you're, in the business world, there's very few true passive income sources. Right. So just thinking of everything as a business. And thinking once you get this, it's easy. That's the way you're asking the question that we all know: who, not how, right? And so we're looking at, so the asset management role of the multifamily is what comes to mind as a big mistake here. As we got moving.
Yeah, I think that principle can be taken into any business, because I can't tell you how many, whether it's an individual franchise for myself or a piece of real estate. I've done the same thing that you just did. I've got plenty of clients who build something up and then hand it off so that they can, whatever, they think they're going to go sit on the beach or whatever. And it just doesn't work like that. That person, at least, still has to be managed and led. Not even managed, led. If they're really a good leader, or in this case, you're managing a vendor who has a whole system, okay, fine. But you still have to be the leader in that equation. You still have to, be the one interested. They respect what you inspect, as the old saying goes. You start looking away and not caring, guess what? They do as well. The only passive income that I could see is like the people that want to invest with you and they just give you the money and then they go back to whatever they're doing. That's the only thing that I can find. But the problem is that guys like you and I we know how to do it. And so it's like, well, I'll just go manage the asset myself, right? And so a little bit we're still stuck in that place, but the returns are just so much greater. So I'm not harping on you, because I do the same thing. I was just talking to a gal I had on the show, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. She invests in large triple net properties and high-end clients and, Starbucks and stuff like that. And so I was talking to her about one of her deals, and it's a good deal. It's a good passive investment. It is. But knowing what I know about real estate and how I can go find my own deal, I'm like, I'm not ready for that. I'll take a little bit of non-passive because I know the outcome of investing in real estate for myself. I'll get to you later, is what I told her.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what that provides, what people like you who do allow other people to come into a deal, maybe they're a doctor, maybe they're a dentist, maybe they're a business owner and have no clue about real estate. That's the opportunity, is to be able to give their money, like you said, take it from the concrete company and put it into real estate. They just get to do it with a trusted source like you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the true I portion of the cash flow quadrant. And so there
That's
are
right.
definite investing passive sources. And I guess I need to clarify. So in the business system world, right, there's very little.
Right.
And we were looking at these as actual investments where it's not a syndication. We aren't taking on anybody else's money. And so we are more in a hybrid model where we're actually should be operating the operators. So in that scenario, see the person who takes their money, like you said, and hands it to someone, that person that is the GP in that scenario, the general partner that would invest the money into real estate, they're managing for you. So you have basically hired an asset manager in that role, but somebody is managing the manager no matter what. So yes, the limited partnership, just investing is probably you're right, the true passive side of that.
It's funny, as you're talking about this, I'm thinking about an investment that I made, I think 2 years ago, and it was a 6-figure investment into a company, into a new industry. And I got an email the other day that basically said, hey, projections or the real isn't as good as our projections. We're trying to, revamp some things, rather than seeing returns in year 3, we're thinking year 5. And my first question was, well, where are the financials? And let me see, because what you're like, even though I gave my money and someone else is doing it, I need to manage that relationship even the same. Because if I'm just like, okay, cool, we'll see you in year 5, as opposed to going, no, I'm now demanding accountability. right? That's what it is. Like that's what you're talking about. The management is like, I'm demanding accountability to the numbers or to whatever you said, whatever, whatever the deal is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Except now when all this happened, we had to actually change almost all property managers because they were so used to their way, and it was a dumpster fire. And it was so when we actually decided who we were going to go with in the future, we laid out what the process was going to be. We put together a business system that shows our KPIs and how we want it done, right? And when we sat down, hey, do you want to be a part of this? If you do, this is how it's going to go. Yes, we're not telling you what kind of property management software to use. You do your own thing. But as far as our deal, this is how it's going to go when you report to us. And the ones that were on board, they're on board from the beginning. It's kind of like hiring a new employee. If you go try to put systems in your company and you have an employee that's been there for 5 years, and then you try to implement systems, they're going to probably kick back, right? But if you go hire somebody day one, here's the system, you follow it or you don't get the job, guess what? They're going to follow it and they're going to be happy. So it's just sometimes that new fresh blood helps.
Hey, kings and queens, Chaz Wolfe. I want to talk to you about something that's super important to me. We put a lot of time and effort, we meaning myself and my team, into this podcast, into the content that goes out every single day. And if you have been getting any sort of value or insight from this, we want it to be able to reach other business owners too. So we would love if you would like, comment, share, leave a review, post, share again, all of the things on social media, on all the different platforms, or even on the podcast mediums of Apple and Spotify. We would love to be able to get our content into more hands, more entrepreneurs, so they can grow their business as quick as possible. Together, we are building a community of like-minded entrepreneurs who are committed to growing their businesses to new heights. So let's do this. Let's help each other. Let's help each other grow. Oh yeah, not sometimes, every time. That's like one of my secrets to building a team. I've got a couple of mastermind members right now that are rebuilding, right? Had some people leave, they've had to fire some people, whatever it is. And I just get kind of excited. It's a little bit odd, I know. And it's a frustrating moment in business where you lose people or whatever, but it's like always another phase. Like, it's like, oh, and I get to rebuild with brand new expectations, with brand new level of commitment. Let's go. And I'm not trying to do that like every year or anything, but you get what I'm saying. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Time consuming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way to say it. I'm trying to put an optimistic spin on it. Okay. All right. Let's talk about family for a second. You've talked passive income. You've talked time and investment, or time as the asset that we're all after. And you talked balance. And it's like the one word I don't believe in, but it's okay. We're going to come to an agreement here. I already know, because you already gave me your definition, which is the same as mine. My definition is obsession. I want to obsess in all areas. I want to obsess in my marriage. I want to obsess in my kids as a father. I want to obsess in life. I want to obsess in business. I want to obsess in passive income. I want to obsess in friendship and on my podcast. We don't just do one show a week. We're going to go do 7. Like, let's go. Right. So how do you obsess, or what you say, balance all of those things all at once? I want to know how you go all in, because what you've described to me is that you're an all in or an all out type of guy. So how are you going all in multiple areas of life all at once?
I mean, you described it perfectly. That's exactly what I am. I am all in, trying to be all in everywhere, not just a little bit everywhere. It's a mindset, like you alluded to.
That's right.
But this whole thing is, I mean, I've actually wrestled with this question. Like, how do you give someone that drive, or how do you help someone flip the switch on? Or how do you, like, why are they, I have friends that are, really good friends that are just stuck with very little motivation to do anything different in life. And it's just like, how do you do it? And so I haven't always, but ever since I took that leap, right, I actually, like I keep saying, that switch was flipped on, and it's just been go, 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 go in every aspect. But one practical thing that really helped me was I made a commitment to stop listening to the freaking music. Turn the freaking radio off. I just always listen to an audiobook, podcast, whatever you want to be. I listen to podcasts about family. I listen to, podcasts obviously about business and whatever. I'm commercial multifamily. That's how I got into it. Always be educating yourself. And then the mind is a wonderful thing. What you put in, you will begin to get out. So, that's my biggest key, I guess, is just every time I get in the truck, the Bluetooth kicks on, the podcast I was playing last automatically pops on, and it just starts playing. And, I haven't listened to music in I don't know how long, right? So it's what I put in. And then it's like, are you strategically hanging around with people, mentors, coaches, right? A network of people that are in a place higher or level or right or beneficial to you. Are you mindfully hanging out with those kind of people, or are you at the bar? The bar is fine, whatever, but you get what I'm saying. So it's like those couple of just stand on it type of mentality where what are you going to do? Are you going to be committed to getting better? Well, then listen to stuff that helps you get better. Educate yourself, read a book, right? Do that kind of thing. And for the easiest way for me is when you jump in the truck and you just always listen to it.
Yeah. I'm hearing you say that those 5 areas of life, as we've defined them, flow from a place of you deciding to do it, committing to do it, and then taking some action towards building yourself so that you can flow out in all of those areas. Listening to audiobooks and podcasts are what I do as well. I very rarely listen to music. Usually it's when I'm with my kiddos and we're just, having a blast of sorts and doing dance parties. My favorite actually on that is Justin Bieber, just in case anybody was wanting to know. We have some epic dance parties up in this house, okay? And I'm not ashamed of that. But regardless, the old input-output game is what Aaron's talking about. My question to you, Aaron, that someone might be thinking right now is, yeah, but that sounds really intense. And it doesn't sound like there's any room for fun. But one of your categories was fun. So how do you answer that guy?
Well, I have to be mindful with fun too, right? So we're always planning something, looking forward to something, right? Today it's a little easier to have fun. But if I look back to when I was stuck in this grind, fun was an afterthought. If we had time, we were going to have fun. So, maybe let that motivate you. To me now, like I said, I've got freedom, I've got time, so we can look at things a little different. Like we intentionally plan to do things during the week. So It just may be a little different for some that are still more of in the grind. And look, like I said, I'm not trying to say I've arrived or anything. I just have a system that nobody can tell if I'm there or not, right? Because of my wonderful team and system. But, that fun piece, I'm just saying, if you're there, you're going to wake up one day, you're going to look around, your kids are going to be out of high school, and you're going to be like, what happened? Just for the sake of a few bucks, right? So put together some systems and do it now. Enjoy life.
Yeah, I'm hearing you say, because there's really 2 schools of thought here. It's like grind, and the rest will figure itself out later, which people get caught in that. What you're saying there at the end is that they get caught in that for too long. And then it's like, oh, geez, my kids are grown. What happened, right? I've been busy being busy, as opposed to being strategic, or like you're saying, no, I had to grind. I had to grind too. I put in many, many, many hours, and hours that took me away from my family many times. But there were certain commitments. Like I've always put my kids to bed every single night. If I showed up, 30 minutes before bedtime, we snuck in, we did our little routine, I put them to bed, and then boom, back to the office I had to go. But there's a difference between I'm committed to all areas of my life, and it's going to look like different seasons along the way. Like Aaron's talking about, sometimes you just got to go, you got to grind. And there isn't necessarily, as much fun, although you can typically still find fun or fulfillment somewhere in that midst. And it might just be you putting your nose to the grindstone and knowing that it's going to be worth it one day. But it doesn't have to be something that like, no, I'm committed to the hustle, and now I'm just like work and nothing else. That's what I'm hearing you say. Am I right on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're committed to, to spending that time with your family, and that's important to you, right? So you're going to do that. You're committed. You're a commitment time. You're a kind of, look, the most important mentor I had, he told me, he's like, dude, there's nothing I can do for you. You are the person who has to make this decision. Are you going to make it freaking happen? And I remember that. And right then I was like, yeah. So am I going to make it happen by putting my kids to bed every night? Yes. Am I going to be there when they get off school? Yes. I take my kids to school every day, right? So like those kind of things I'm trying not to get away from, but I understand it's hard. I understand when you're stuck in all this, it's hard. I have put little trips and getaways on my calendar too, like whoever may be listening. And then when it comes up to that time on my calendar, I'm like, dang, I shouldn't have done that. I got too much to do. now I got to go do this. Like, I know what that feeling's like, but the systems are the answer.
Yeah. You said something super powerful on the systems, and then we'll move on here, is that nobody knows whether I come or go. And to take that phrase one step further to the actual value is that now you have something that's sellable, right? And so like, as the listener, they may not be thinking, I want to sell my business today, but you're building something that can be sold, and which is an asset. Otherwise, you're back left side of the quarter, right? You're just a business owner you're just self-employed. But if you create a system, then that is something that is now considered an asset. And as far as a business system goes, you cannot clarify it as an asset if it cannot be sold. And no one's going to buy something from you if it's your job, or if you have to be involved, if they know whether you come or you go. So kudos to you for building what you've built. I want to hammer that home for the listener. I got one last question here for you, because you have a mindset, you have a drive that's just, pretty spot on, man. I've enjoyed this conversation. So I want you to go back in time. Whatever age pops into your mind is fine. But you see the younger Aaron, and you walk over and you tap him on the shoulder and you whisper something in his ear. What do you tell him?
Turn the radio off, right? No, just educate yourself and take massive action. So that's the thing, though. Once I started educating myself here recently, when I decided to make this leap in life, the massive action came a little bit much further down the line than I liked, right?
Got it.
So at younger self, man, educate, take massive action. It's real simple. So it doesn't matter what sector you're in. It doesn't matter what you choose. If you want to be whatever you want to be, just pick something, make it easily systematizable, pick that area, but then pick it, educate yourself on it, and take massive action. So really, you get to, a lot of people sit back and they think of things and it gets too daunting, and it's just, you got to just take the chance. You don't have to learn it all at the beginning either. Like
Right.
one of the most important characteristics I think I have or helpful is, I jump first and try to evaluate later, right? I try to figure it out on the fly, and it forces me to do that. So maybe I would tell my younger self, hey, take a chance, Imagine, Chaz, being a kid, like, straight out of high school or whatever, or I don't know when you got started, but like just younger, you don't have a lot to lose, right? Take some chances, build some stuff out,
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity, obviously, to go back and play that game. We can't, but maybe one of the listeners here today can. And of course, it's the same story we tell ourselves today, right? Like, you're telling yourself today, take a chance, go for it, right?
That's right. Same story.
Because it's belief, man. And what I'm hearing you say is just freaking go. But what happens after you take massive action, at least this was the case for me, I just convinced myself that I believed it. Like, I didn't try to negotiate with myself whether I believed it up front. I just did it. Just whatever it was, I took massive action like Aaron's talking about. And eventually I just talked myself into it, whatever it was, right? Whether that was sales at the beginning, because I'm a learned extrovert, believe it or not, I'm introverted on the scale. It's like, well, how's that possible? 430 podcasts in, and 20 years of sales and all these businesses. It's like, well, no, I had to learn that. Same stuff. Education, take massive action, and then eventually start to believe like that it can be yours, right?
Absolutely. That's the formula. I mean, keep it simple so that you can do it, right? You don't have to figure everything out.
Love it. I also loved the timeline that you gave there. Just you go. I can tell you're an urgent guy, but you're also giving yourself, it's a poise. It's like no, it's okay. Like, I'm going to get there in whatever period of time. And when I get there, it'll be great. And the journey is going to be great along the way too. So Aaron, how can the listener find you? Because there's a couple different ways here. First off, if you're an entrepreneur listening and you just want to connect with Aaron, obviously he's got multiple companies and he's doing the thing right from an asset building perspective. But if they want to actually build assets with you and they want to maybe invest, or they want to go to their next level in real estate, how can they connect with you?
Yeah, you can send a message on the website at securemultifamily.com. And, I'm on all the social media platforms, but yeah, just reach out. You can send an email through the website. So probably the best way.
Perfect. Well, we'll put all that information in the show notes as well. It's incredible to have you here. Now that I know that you're just a hop, skip, and a jump down the road, we're grabbing lunch over here at Jack Stack here in the next couple of weeks. That's the best place. And can't wait to get to know you better. Thanks for being here. Blessings to your family and all that you have going here in 2023. Thanks for being here, Aaron.
As well. Thanks, Chaz.
Thank you for listening to Gathering the Kings today. I hope that you were able to pull out a few nuggets to go apply into your business right away. More importantly, though, I hope that you're realizing that it takes more to be successful than just being by yourself, doing it all on your own, carrying the weight all by yourself. What I have realized, not only in my own journey from multiple businesses and multiple different industries, and now interviewing over 200 or 300 other very successful 7, 8, and 9-figure business owners, is that it's tough to do it alone. And so Gathering the Kings exists to bring together successful entrepreneurs. In fact, we are putting together 1,000 kings, specifically who are grateful but not done. We're intentionally assembling kings who fight tooth and nail for their business, family, and communities. And here's what we believe, that in the pursuit of excellence in those areas, that it ignites within us the responsibility to govern power and forge a lasting legacy. So if that relates and resonates with you, and you know that you need people around you, sharp, qualified, other very successful business owners, I want you to go to gatheringthekings.com. I want you to take a look at what we're doing and see if it makes sense for you to be part of our pursuit to 1,000 kings. Talk soon.